Hello, welcome to Cfmoto Zforce. In today's video, I'm going to be hooking up this Auxbeam LED light bar to my Cfmoto Zforce 800EX. I'm going to show you step by step and then something else, so stay tuned. So don't mind my mess here on the table. I'd like to thank Auxbeam for sponsoring this video, sending me this LED light bar. And a funny story, the hardware that came with this LED bar was missing the washers that go here on the side bracket. There's a washer with, like, it's a textured washer, and it coincides with this part here. You can see that it's ribbed. So I'm missing those washers. I was in touch with the rep. I'm not upset about it. It's just this kind of thing happens once in a while. So I'm not upset with it. I just asked them if they could send me those washers. They know exactly what I mean. I believe they're on their way. It's going to take about a week. But here's my dilemma. Tonight, me and a bunch of guys are going out for our first night ride. And I'd love to have this LED bar up on the Zforce. So I came up with an idea. So I had some old car parts and accessories from a 1963 Chevy Bel Air. And I don't even know what these things are, but they're made of rubber, and it's a real dense rubber. So I cut out what I think would need, like the shape of a washer, drilled a hole through the middle. And this is just temporary. I mean, the washers they're going to send me will work just fine. But seeing I want to get this out on the trails tonight and use my LED lights, I wanted to do something. So this is what I came up with. I'm going to put it together. I'm going to mount it up on the roof of the Zforce. We're going to run the power source down here. Now I'm only going to show you an install if you're hooking up accessories to an Auxbeam 8-gang switch assembly like this. So what's going to happen is it just hooks up directly. Red and black wire into one of these ports here. Probably the 30 amp port or the 20 amp port. I'm just going to run the harness down into here, under here, and hook up to here. And it should all work with my switch panel. And I'll be able to control my LED light or other accessories with this pod. This is mounted on the dash inside my side-by-side. So this installation will only be showing you if you have the 8-gang switch panel that I have. I highly recommend it. I did a video on installing it. And I also have a link in that description of that video or the first comment where you can get the 8-gang switch panel from Auxbeam at 15% off if you use that link. But I highly recommend getting this switch panel because then that way you can tie in any accessories that you have. I also have rock lights on the Zforce, and who knows, I may want whips. I may want to get smaller LED lights for the rear or even in the corners here of the windshield. I don't know. We'll see, or even on the front bumper. So without going into too much detail, these rubber washers that I made, I doubled them up, 2 of them. And I put the side bracket on here with the bolt that it was required. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line up, size up where I want this LED bar on my roof. And I'll show you all that. And we'll drill holes in the roof for that. And I recommend, and I got some fat washers for the underside of the roof when you're running the bolt through here and then through the roof. And then you'll put your nut and washer on this side. That way, with all the jiggling that the light's going to make on the trails, you know, this will eliminate that bolt comes through the roof and works its way through the plastic over time. It just adds extra support. So I measured from the outside of this bracket to this bracket. It's 58 inches. 29 inches is halfway. I marked the center of the roof. 29 inches that way, 29 inches that way. And I'm going to mark it better before I drill holes. And we're good to go. So I measured from one end of the light bar bracket to the other end. It's 58 inches. I marked the spots. I measured up 1.5 inches. That's just my choice. I just made 1.5 inches. It looked right there. I'm going to drill a hole here, drill a hole over there. So now we can mount our light bar to the roof. All right, I got the light bar mounted and I got the level on there. Make sure everything's level. Now I snugged up the bolts on the side mounts. I'm going to snug up the bolts on this side. And there is some small Allen wrench kind of bolts that have to go in there to lock it in place so it doesn't go like this on you, swivel. I'm going to try and do that. Once I get everything done, I'll bring you back. But first, I'll show you the fat washers I used on the back. So there I used fat washers like this on both sides. When all the jiggling is going around out on the trails with your light bar, it won't pull through so easy. It won't even pull through actually with these fat washers on there. All right, now this is the harness that comes with the LED light bar. It's for different applications. It's got lots of wire. So here we have a relay. We're not going to need this relay because we have all we need with the Auxbeam 8-gang switch, right? Also, you got the positive and negative wires. So the positive would go to some kind of power source and the negative is your ground. We're not going to need that. We have a switch that you can install inside your side-by-side or your Jeep, whatever you're hooking this up to. And we don't need this either. All we got to do is find the harness with the red and black wires. So we're going to bring this all the way to the end. This plugs into the LED light bar, the existing wire that comes off of this. So we're going to follow this all the way back. All we need is this harness right here. All this here with the red and the black wire. See how that has the red and the black wire right there? So we're going to bring this all the way back to the relay. So we're going to come back here. I don't know how much we're going to need, but we're going to cut it right here. Before we cut, let's double check we're not cutting the wrong one. So this is the wire for the switch right here. And then we got our battery terminals or whatever you want to call those, battery hookups. So right here. So we're going to cut this here. All this can be discarded only if you have the Auxbeam 8-gang multi-functional switch panel. So all we need is this wire that is right here. Okay, I ran the lead that comes off of the light bar. I just ran it up here for now. I imagine that's where it's going to stay. And we're going to run, well, first of all, we're going to plug this end into that lead right here like this. And that's it. So now we're going to feed our wire down, go through the firewall somewhere, and into our Auxbeam switch panel right here. All right, I ran the harness down here, up and around my pipe here, down this pipe here, in behind my windshield, down here on the Zforce, down in through here. It's all going to run underneath right here up into that box. I'm going to tidy up all these wires again. It comes up through this storage box here that's on the front of the Zforce. I drilled a hole, run the wires up through here, ran the positive into the 30 amp port and the negative into 30 amp port. Everything's good. So I'm just going to button everything up now. The light works, and I'll show you as soon as I'm done all this. All right, everything is buttoned up. I got the light working perfectly. Everything went really well. And there you can see it's working real good. And I'm going to show you again tonight in the forest. So there you go. That's what it is with that light bar at the top on at night. That is crazy bright. I don't think I'll be behind anybody with that on. I'd have to be in the lead. But yeah, that is bright. That'll light up the woods. Well, we just got back from our long ride. Look at that. Tight as it was when I put it on. Very good. I actually angled it down a bit so it wouldn't shine into the faces of everybody in front of me or into the backs of them and into their mirrors. And this would actually, if I stayed back a little bit of a distance, this light would just shine on the ground before the next vehicle. So I guess I did that properly. Wasn't too sure if that's where I want it, but it seemed to work out really good. I can't recommend it enough. If you're going to have accessories like a light bar, light whips, rock lights, all kinds of different things. I can't stress enough, it's good to have one of these Auxbeam 8-gang switch panels. Amazing. Once you have one of these hooked up, every other accessory will just wire right into here. You don't have to run to battery cables or put a ground anywhere on your frame or anything. Everything just runs right into this panel here and just makes your life a lot easier. If you want anything from Auxbeam, I'm going to put a link down below in the description and in the comment. It'll be the first comment you see, the pinned comment. You're going to see a link to Auxbeam products. I don't know if it's every product, but check it out. I know it's going to be the Auxbeam 8-gang panel switch, possibly the light bar, rock lights. You'll get 15% off with that link. Go ahead and check it out.